Hello, my name is host Derek, and I'm the host of Talking with Famous People. I'm here with Basement Overlord, famous person Frenzy, famous person INFP listener, and this document that I'm making here. So here are the questions I just was writing when you guys showed up, and I'm writing them for this concept that I've talked about with the group before. I don't know if I think Basement Overlord was there, where we were talking about possible questions. Yeah, you were definitely there. We're talking about the possible questions.
It's
So
like 5 minutes ago.
open-ended questions for submit a video typing and individuated analysis. What's the difference between believing something and knowing something?
My answer to that,
Well, no, this is okay. So here's the circumstance for the open-ended questions. I'm going to say that I'm going to put up a video that says I would like to type you by having you make a video where you answer these questions that I'm posing here and send me that video. Then I'll play either that whole video or excerpts from the video and type you and be like, okay, well, here where she says blah, 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 that's when you're showing your blah, 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 you know?
yeah.
So, anyway, these are some of the questions I've come up with for that. Uh, what's the difference between believing something and knowing something? This one, you and someone close to you have had a disagreement. You tell the other person they have hurt your feelings with mean spirited words. They admit their words were harsh and apologize, but also act like you are making a big deal over nothing. Question A. How likely is this to happen to you, and in which contexts? B. For how long after will the incident affect your relations with the other person?
I'm not
And
sure if I like the question.
you don't like it?
Well, okay, it's a good question, but I'm thinking, how much does it have to do with Enneagram versus Myers-Briggs? Because that could be an Enneagram related thing.
Well, I'm anticipating that I will of course be analyzing what they say, but I see these open-ended questions as just anything that gets them to talk about themselves. And then I'll just
Yeah,
read them. I'll just read them and be like, okay, well, here you're doing this, here you're doing that. It doesn't really matter in the open-ended questions,
yeah.
unless it's because it's not a standardized thing where I have to have it produce some result like automatically.
The introverts are going to be harder to type, and unfortunately, a lot of the people watching these videos are introverts. They
Well,
might give very brief answers.
right. Well, I mean, that's why I have some open-ended questions and I have some non-open-ended questions. So first, I'm reading you the open-ended ones. I told them to sort of consider themselves on a scale of forgive and forget on one end to no justice, no peace at the other end. All right, so there's a couple open-ended questions I wrote.
What functions would that assess?
Well, it's it's not so much which functions it assesses as um, where they are. It has to do with FEFI, and then but also where how high up it is in the stack. So
Okay.
I think I think somebody who's probably either in followed by F. I would guess that like NEFI goes to the no justice, no peace side more, and NIFE goes to the forgive and forget side more.
Yeah. NESI versus NEFI, you said? Or
Yeah, well,
NETI?
I mean, I think these issues of forgive and forget or no justice, no peace are feeling related matters more than anything else.
Yeah. It's a visceral reaction.
I think the extent that you have your emotions involved in the decision making, you're more no justice, no peace kind.
I think
Okay.
thinkers in general can find a way to rationalize a reason why they can forgive another person, whereas a feeler is not going to want to find a way to rationalize. They're going to want to feel their emotions, which are probably negative, you know?
Such as, you're a jerk.
Yeah, you're a jerk versus a thinker might be like, well, I feel like you're a jerk, but maybe there's a reason why I
Right.
think you're a jerk, you know?
Yeah. It'd be like, you were mean to me is a feeling that can be, I think, for some people difficult to get away from, even if it
Yeah.
doesn't hold a lot of logical weight. Okay,
The
so
thing
here,
is,
go ahead.
well, here's the last thing, which I mean, this might not be that helpful, but introvert thinking dominants might have trouble understanding their own feelings because they have inferior extrovert feeling, so they might not know how to handle that situation, you know, because their feeling is just terrible.
Okay. Well, then they'll reveal that in talking about it. Is the thought,
True.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So here are some of the non-open-ended questions. I'll read like a chunk of them and then give you a chance to comment if you have any thoughts on the chunk. So they tend to be quick. True or false? I'm more likely to forget small objects at home. Which would anger you more? A close friend forgets your birthday, or a close friend reveals to a mutual acquaintance how much money you make? And that's an FEFI thing.
Wait, what
Uh,
was the first part of that question?
which would anger you more? A close friend forgets your birthday, or a close friend reveals to a mutual acquaintance how much money you make?
In the latter is FE.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense.
Um, then this one. This is sort of a impulsiveness thing. Although I don't know if people's answers will actually be representative of their actual nature, but it says you're stuck with a group of 20 surviving shipgoers on a deserted island. Bob is a take charge guy and has asserted and unstated leadership. Do you want to wait and see or address this matter right away directly?
Well, the thinking type enneagrams like 5, 6, 7 would be more likely to waver on their decision, you know.
Right.
But that could be indicative of thinking, you know. Who knows?
Well, see, wait and see or address it right away doesn't give you an option of go along with it. It gives you the option of positioning going along with it as wait and see.
Yeah, it's like you could go along with it, or you could change course and eventually be like, you know what? I don't want to affiliate myself with this person.
Right. Wait and see implies that um, you may see something you don't like and then take action then.
You think it's an introvert extrovert thing?
Well, I mean, I could see it playing out in a lot of different ways. If I were asked that question, I'd say, "Huh. Well, there's two answers to that. On the one hand, if you attack it right away, then you not only put a stop to that, but you assert yourself as a potential replacement without having to say anything like "I want to be the leader." Because
But here's the thing:
go ahead.
you have to think, what are you ultimately gonna do as an action, not just what you think, because the extroverts are more likely to think what you're thinking and then do something about it, where the introverts might think what you're thinking and never end up doing anything about it, just ruminate over the subject, you know?
Well, see, I was gonna the wait and see part of the my extrovert nature is wait for uh, wait for him to make a mistake for a better opportunity to counterpunch.
Hmm.
It's not like wait to make the decision. It's as I was gonna I would refuse to interpret the question as wait and see if we're going to let him take charge. I interpret it as wait and see if you can come up with a better opportunity. Wait for an opportunity to present itself to knock him out,
Yeah,
so to speak.
there's a difference between waiting and putting it off versus waiting for the right moment.
Right. You're remarkably poised while drunk, Basement Overlord.
I
I can tell you're drunk, but you're doing an excellent job anyway. I'll tell you that.
I'm expending a lot of effort
I can
making
tell.
sure that I don't come off as completely ridiculous when I'm talking about these things.
No, you don't. You don't come off as ridiculous. You just come off as a little tipsy. All right, so this other one. Would you rather play defense or offense? As just sort of general. That's the only details you have.
I wonder if that would be sensing versus intuition, extrovert sensing versus extrovert intuition. Because I feel like extrovert sensors would be offense oriented versus intuition would be defense oriented, waiting for someone to mess up for them to counteract that. You know?
Yeah, that's a tough question too for me because I see ENTPs as counterpunchers. So
Maybe it's perceiving versus judging. You know, versus an extroverted perceiving function versus an introvert perceiving function.
might be. I think it depends how high up sense how where sensing and intuition are probably. All right, so let's look at another couple of these. If anybody else wants to turn on a camera or microphone, please do. INFP, you got something to say?
I feel like I talked to JC
Yeah,
the
JC's a
last time I was
regular.
here.
Yeah, she's here
Isn't
frequently.
she?
Yeah,
Is she
we talked last
ESFP?
time. Yeah.
Yeah. We were talking about the awesome um, quiz we're gonna do for people.
Yeah, is this it?
Okay, well, what
Or
this
like are
is,
these
Definitely not.
questions?
This is
these
just us hanging out.
these
Oh, okay.
questions are questions that I've compiled. I'm compiling, and they're for a number of things. But what I'm going to do before I do this, the story one, is to put up a video saying, I've got some questions on this video right here. I'm about to ask them. Most of them are sort of short answer or multiple choice or whatever, but some of them are open ended. And I'd like, if you would like to, person in the internet, if you would like to make a video that says your answers to these questions and send it to me, then I'll make a video in which I either excerpt that video or if it's short, play the whole thing and then do an analysis of your answers and your type based on what you say to these questions.
Yeah, you're gonna be hard pressed finding people who will make video responses, but hopefully this will generate people joining these live hangouts.
Yeah, look, here's the thing. I've gotten used to it, the idea that you have to persist in an idea for it to get somebody to take a chance at it.
Yeah.
So it's like I've had plenty long days of not having anybody respond to go to meeting, postings or whatever. But it's fine. I just kept throwing up because if I knew it's if you occasionally get one, well then that's what you get, and that's what you do with. You take what you get. But the thing is, even if it doesn't work, I'm okay with trying something that doesn't work.
Yeah.
So I want to read some more of these questions, and then we'll maybe stop this one and start another one. But it says, would you rather share a delightful meal with a friend or team up for an engaging hobby project, assuming each activity costs the same in time and money?
What was the second response?
Engaging hobby project. Would you rather share a delightful meal with a friend or team up for an engaging hobby project, assuming each activity costs the same in time and money?
So what do you think that correlates to?
Um, I think it's going to tell you where your extroversion is a bit. So I think that the somebody who's got FI higher or SE higher or yeah, then they will want to have the food, and the NE or FE will want to have the project because it's more collaborative.
Well, do you know much
Both of
about
those sound very appealing to me.
Yeah, well, they're both pretty awesome. But do you know what quadrant values are in socionics?
Yeah, vaguely. I mean, not really. I know what they are, but I don't know what they are, so to speak. I know what you
Well,
mean, but
it
not what they are.
sounds Yeah, well, it sounds like the extrovert sensors are more likely to work towards a common goal, where the extrovert intuition people are more likely to want to just hang out, maybe eat some food like you talked about, not necessarily want to work on a project. For the extrovert sensors, want to feel like their time is going towards an issue that they can work on.
Well, I'd say about the team, the working together with people on projects is it depends on the nature of the project. A lot of times I prefer to work by myself on projects because it's faster, it's more efficient. But
Yeah.
but it depends on the nature of the project too. So I mean, again, in this one, if it were an if I put it down as an open-ended one by just putting like "please explain" at the end of it, then I could utilize the question as a launching point to get them to talk about that distinction themselves, and then utilize that information for the typing. It's like I'm looking at how they answer it as much as what their answer is. So then there's an empty
Yeah.
lot. There's a
Well, the thing I was thinking about is, um, think about these hangouts. Like when you think of like a dinner conversation, in a dinner conversation is a specific type of conversation where you're just sort of like talking about random stuff versus working on a project is very specific. So imagine if these hangouts were like a dinner conversation almost. You know what I'm saying?
right. It's interesting. You and I view things a lot differently because you're looking for these questions to do something specific, right?
Assess a person's functions. Yeah.
Assess something specific. But my take on it is more like I want to get a bunch of answers, even if they were short answers or just in answering the question, and look at them sort of holistically and put them together and say, because I always end up like tossing out plenty of answers that I think don't fit with that aren't accurate. Um,
I just
but
don't trust people all the time. I feel like some people have an agenda for their type. Like for me, for example, if I can guess what the question is correlated to, for example, if I can understand that the question is thinking versus feeling, that's gonna make my answer biased. You know what I'm saying? So I almost don't
Mm-hmm.
trust people's answers.
well, that's kind of the point of having answers that aren't designed to do anything specific. I mean, questions that aren't designed to do anything specific.
Yeah, I actually think the questions that Eric comes up with are great for not being, you don't know what he's going after. It's like,
Yeah,
so it makes it less biased, especially like the story ones or like the scenario ones.
Good news.
harder to
Good,
guess. Yeah, it's harder to guess what the question's going for.
but that's the point.
Yeah,
Is that if it's not actually going for anything, then it's impossible to guess.
Yeah.
right.
Then they fill in the details with what functions they possess
Right.
automatically.
Right.
Okay,
Good
I see.
news. Good news. Your neighbor Pam keeps chickens and has arrived at your door with a basket of fresh eggs. It just so happens that you need 4 eggs for the final dish you need to complete for Christmas breakfast. And because it's 4 a.m. on Christmas morning, the store is not an option. Oops! Pam has dropped the basket. Now each egg has a hairline crack in it. They won't keep. You'll have to use them right away, in fact, because you live in a festering swamp where everything spoils super fast. Would you
Yeah.
rather would you rather there be 10 eggs in the basket and 6 eggs go to waste, or 3 eggs in the basket and you'll end up having to alter the recipe a bit?
6 or well 10. I love how I just answered that.
Yeah, because there's a pretty good amount of questions that um, define extrovert intuition, like the really random questions. I've seen a lot of like interviews where they just ask the randomest questions because they want to see how sensors react to those questions. Like for example, ISTJs, they'll really like those questions but they might not be the best at answering them. Whereas ENTPs, they'll like them and be really good at answering them. Whereas the extrovert sensors might not like them as much and be kind of bad at answering them, you know?
Probably that's true. That would make sense. So this would
They're
be one of
really
those.
random questions. Because, like, ISTJs really like those random questions that get people talking about their lives, their introvert sensing sort of mosaic personality where it's like it relates to them as a person.
You are a soccer coach. It's a big game. If you lose, you are out of the World Cup. If you tie, you definitely advance from the group stage. But then you'll have to play the hardest team in the quarterfinals. If you win, you advance and get an easier opponent. Here's some more stuff you know. If your team tries to win, your team has a 40% chance of winning, a 40% chance of losing, and a 20% chance of a tie. If your team tries to tie, it has a 90% chance of a tie and only a 5% chance of losing. Number one, do you try to win or tie? Number two, is the reason I did the math, it's the sensible choice. Is B, I would do the math if I were the coach, and I suspect the math supports my choice. Or C, the math is irrelevant, just try to win, otherwise you'll end up outsmarting yourself into disaster.
C.
Or D,
Sorry.
or D, there's another one. Or D, the math is irrelevant, just try to tie. Trying to earn an easier opponent for your next fight is only good if there's a next fight. Prefer one in the hand and two in the bush. Can you guys see my
That's
screen? Do you see the
I mean,
questions?
Yeah,
yeah,
I can see
I
it.
do see it. And that second answer sounds like an NT response.
It sounds like an NTP response. That's an NTP. This is
Which
the
one? C.
B. B is an
Yeah,
NTP
well,
response.
any NT, but most likely NTP. The NTJs could go for that, or they could also go for the D response.
I feel like NTJ might go for A.
Yeah, I was thinking if somebody does go for A, that's a sure sign they're an NTJ, right? An
I
NTJ.
did the math. It's a sensible choice. They don't
I,
need to.
they probably did.
Yeah, that's
They probably did the math before reading the questions.
Yeah,
right.
they probably were,
I mean,
were doing it as you read it.
I kind of was doing it a little bit as you read it, but I still am just like, all right, well, I'm gonna try to win. This stupid.
Right.
Yeah, ESFPs are like INTJs, almost like they're the same type, but almost like opposite. So you like it would make sense that you go for that A response and then just end up going for the other response you want to go for.
Right. Like I thought about A because I kind of was doing that, but then I was just like, no, it doesn't matter.
You're just
Stupid.
like fuck it.
Yeah, I'm not doing the math. Like the math, no, I'm not actually going to sit there and do it. Like I could, but
You go for it, but you don't feel like it.
I
yeah, I just
like
don't feel like.
I like the fact that these questions all feel plausible to me. Like I could see myself agreeing with any of these answers. I have a hard time choosing. I mean, I wouldn't do A. Even if I were the actual coach, I would get somebody else to do the math. I wouldn't do it myself. I'd just be like,
Now, if I was the coach, I would do A, or I would do the math if I was the coach. I feel like just so that I know, but I still probably would just tell my team like, okay, go out there and win.
Yeah. Well, what's the difference between A and B? Is it the decisiveness of A versus the indecisiveness of B?
it's how a person reacts to a question like that. When I see a question like that with a bunch of numbers, I go, I don't even want to fucking think about that thing. It's
Yeah.
ridiculous. Whereas I posit that some types might actually want to know, or they might be so good at math that it doesn't really take them much but a second to figure it out. It's not that complicated a question, right? But it's too
Yeah,
complicated
it's
for me. It's too complicated for me to figure out without thinking about it, and I don't want to think about it. I don't like thinking about that kind of stuff. That kind of figuring out's not fun.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to another one. Basement
I need to go
Overlord
to the
is on.
bathroom or something.
Goodbye.
Well,
Good night.
yeah, I'll be back in like 30 seconds.
Okay, no problem. Okay, so here we go. Let's begin. All right, so here we go. This is an interesting question. It's a long question. You and your non-romantic, non-family member, same age, same gender friend are manning an info booth at an outside event. It's very slow. Almost no one wants info. Your friend got cold 30 minutes ago and borrowed your jacket. Now the sun has gone down, and now you are cold. You say brr a couple times, but your friend makes no sign of returning your jacket. You both need to remain in the location for one more hour. Which of the following is closest to how you deal with this? Please pick two. Next, which two do you think are the best choices regardless of what you do? Number one, state, all right, friend, sorry, but I need my jacket back. Suggest, hey, are you warmed up yet? I'm starting to get chilly. Mutter, well, I'm glad one of us is warm. Be a trooper. My friend probably needs it more. I'm tough, it's just an hour. Assess. Say, is there any particular reason why you need to stay warm right now than I? Why you more need to stay warm right now than I? Are you sick or prone to getting sick? I'm cold and prefer to be warmer, but if there's a justification for why you need it more, then I can tough it out. 6. Share. Say, hey, how about we take turns with the jacket? Give me a few minutes to warm up a bit, and then I'll give it back to you for a while, and so forth. That way neither of us has to freeze. Solve. Say, let me get on the walkie-talkie and see if Supervisor Bob has an extra event staff jacket you could use. Decide. Reflect. Am I cool with this? It seems like I'm being a bit put upon, but I know my friend here is going through a rough time with their significant other. Normally my friend wouldn't act like this, but my friend is distressed by worry and stress. What do you think? Which one's
it's a good question. Yeah. Personally, I
which
think
two?
I'm which two?
Yeah.
See, the thing is, the solving it is so great, but I don't think I would actually come up with that.
That's why I asked for these two things, right? First, pick the two you think you'd
Uh-huh.
actually do, then pick the two that you think are the best choices. They could
Oh,
match or
okay.
they don't have to.
Right. Okay. Well, solving it is definitely the best choice.
Okay, so that's one of your
Um,
two best choices. Okay.
okay, here's what I would actually do. I probably would be like, I probably might state, give me my jacket back, but I'd say it in I'd make it like a joke, but I'd be really serious. Like, so it's about time you give me my jacket back, because I'm cold. Like,
Right.
seriously? So I probably would actually state it, but I kind of turn it into like a joke, but I'd be
Okay.
serious.
What's your
I
second
say it
choice?
a lot. Okay, what's my second choice? Uh, uh, be a trooper, probably. Be a trooper and just.
Yeah, I don't know what I would do exactly. And this is it's difficult for me to know what I would do because what I did was think up all of these 8 possible things you could do. Goodbye now, basement overlord. I don't blame you for going. I understand it's
Frenzy, you're mean.
Frenzy says, "Give me your jacket or your life." My jacket or your
Yeah.
life? Yeah. Well, I would say I
Patrick, bye.
bye Patrick. I would guess I would do number one,
Mm-hmm.
or I might do number two. I wouldn't do number three for sure. It depends on the. Probably I wouldn't do four. If it
Needs
were,
more. Oh, I might do number 4.
I might have. If it was a girl, I probably would do four. That's why I made same gender.
Oh, true. If it was a guy, I might like be like, "Yo, give me my jacket."
Right? Yeah, it's a little different, right?
Yeah, it's totally different. It's totally different. You're being a sissy. You
Right.
could stand it.
Yeah.
I even had my jacket to begin with.
Right. Um. Yeah. I probably. In theory, I guess if I were really in a chill mood or something, I might assess. Probably not.
I would never assess.
I
I
think
would
that
never do that.
I think the two best solutions are 7 and 6, since it's just an hour. If it were a long time, I'd say, look, you're the one with this problem, and I'm not going to take on your problem by being cold half the time. But I'm willing to, I'm a team player. I might share for an hour.
Yeah, I could see sharing is a good answer.
Okay, well, let's
These
go to another question in this exciting list of questions.
these are cool. Now wait, Arlo, are you planning to use these for just typing people on here or more like
Well, I'm gonna use some of them on as a. I might make a few different ones. I might make them periodically, right? The idea is a
Mhm.
video that says, here are some questions. If you'd like to make a short video response, or it doesn't have to be super short, but if you want to make a video response to these questions and send it to me, then I will watch your video and I will either excerpt that video and type you from it, or play that whole video if it's not that long, and then provide type analysis after the fact based on what you said and what you did and stuff like that. And
okay.
and somebody already told me, who was it? Basement Overlord said he doesn't think I'm going to get anybody to make a video response like that. But
Mhm.
but
I mean,
I said
I
it's
don't know.
persistence. It's persistence.
You might. I mean, because people do put out like like they'll use like questionnaires and they'll put out like typing videos and whatnot. So I mean, if you put it like maybe promote it in like I don't know the Facebook groups or something like that, it could get play. You know what I mean? If people use that questionnaire.
Well, what I'm saying is put up a video in which I ask, like, say, 3 questions and say, if you would like to be typed, you can answer, but you don't want to talk to me live on GTM, you can send me a video answering these questions. I'd love to type you that way too. That sounds like a fun experiment to me. If
Hmm.
and then if it doesn't get any response by getting actual videos, um, I'll say at the end of it also, these questions are questions that maybe you can ask people, or we can talk about it in an upcoming GTM or something as well. Just like present the questions as I'm eliciting from you a response video, but these questions are also things we could talk about. What they do with you could come talk to us about it live if you want, and then you could at least come in knowing the question and say, "I'm here. I want to be typed by you, but I want to answer the questions you asked on the video. I don't want you to ask me surprise questions. You can do that if you want.
Oh.
I mean,
That would make no difference to me.
right? I mean, the
Hearing
thing is, I
that
don't know
answer.
if it's gonna work at all, but I just want to try to sort of try it and see.
Hmm.
Because there's no bad thing if nobody sends me any videos.
Right. I mean,
And
the questions are good. What's the next one?
okay, next question. All right, fine. This one's a kind of a long question, but it goes like this: if you are trying to win an affirmative argument, which strategy sounds wisest to you? Number one, win by denying your opponent anything to attack. Shift ground, parse questions into meaninglessness. Commit to ghosts and flail around trying to grab them. Avoid any ground narrowing arguments designed to pin you down. Number two, define terms and attack their definitions. Win by showing that their objections have no impact on your case because they are guilty either of not addressing your points at all or of equivocating regarding their own meaning. Pin yourself down definitionally and make him fight the battles on your terms. Let him win battles you want him to win, and then link to the definitions to render those wins insignificant while concurrently weighing your own wins as massively more significant by comparison. That's number two. This is a complicated question, right? It's a complicated question, but maybe it's
It's
too
an
complicated.
ENTP question. I
Right.
think only an ENTP would answer this question, or maybe an INTP.
3. Win by having the best case going in. Build a moving fortress on the smallest amount of ground you need to affirm to win. Commit to that piece of ground and assault full throttle. Feel secure against counterpunching because such a fortress can be made nearly unbreachable with some prep. Number 4. Win by making big bold claims and taking far more ground than you need to win. Let the opponent fight on ground you don't need to hold to win the debate. Make each win of his reinforce your next line of defenses, mechanism links, and don't worry too much about attacking his points directly. As he defeats your outer points, retreat back to the ground you need to hold at the end to win. So those are 4 different argumentation styles that I've identified, and I think they correlate with specific types.
What
So,
types do you think they correlate with?
well, I think that the the number 2 one is ENTP usually. Define terms and attack their
Okay.
definitions win by showing that their objections is wrong kind of there. Okay. So that this one, it's a framework argument that you keep attacking their framework basically. But this is another possible ENT approach, which is the one. This is my approach. Win by making big bold claims and start in debate rounds anyway, and staking far more ground than I need to win. Let the opponent fight on ground you don't need to hold to win the debate. Make each win of his reinforce your next line of defenses with mechanism links, and don't worry too much about attacking his points directly. In other words, make him come fight on your case, whatever it is. By making the bolder claims, you make him come over to you. But this,
Right,
I don't know.
understand.
This one, I'm curious to see who would click that one. But this is normally ENTP. This is INTP. Win by denying your opponent anything to attack. This is ENTJ and probably INTJ as well. Number 3.
Yeah, it's an NT question. I feel like don't ask this question until you're sure the person is an NT, because I'm like, it doesn't take into account for people who avoid conflict. You know what I mean?
Right. That's true.
It's like I don't argue with anybody. Never.
It's like, okay.
I retreat.
Okay.
That's
so
not an option.
it's the sort of question that goes like, okay, so you know how you're always punching people in the face? Well, when you're doing that, do you like to blah, 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 or blah, right? And you're like, wait, hold on.
That's exactly it. Like, I don't punch people in the face. Hold on.
You feel like cooking a nice dinner for a friend and you. The meal will take 20 total steps and take 2 hours to complete. Would you rather the steps be front-loaded or spread out evenly across the 2 hours?
Front-loaded.
Okay. So, I think almost everybody would answer it that way, don't you?
I think maybe a SJ might like it spread out. I don't know. I feel like they're the most likely to want it to be spread out, but maybe even they would like it front loaded.
Okay. What about this one? Which offends you more? A rule that is usually enforced is not enforced this time because the rule breaker started crying and the rule enforcer felt bad. Or number 2, a rule that is usually enforced is enforced this time as always, only this time it causes the rule breaker to miss his mother's 40th birthday party in addition to the normal punishment, and the rule enforcer refused to change the way in which he implemented the rule, though doing so could have maintained the normal punishment and foregone missing the party.
The last one is really long. Wait. And the rule enforcer refused to change the way in which he implemented the rule, though doing so could have maintained the normal punishment and forgone this. I guess number 2.
Yeah, that offends me more too, I think. It depends on the rule as well. That's what anybody's going to be like, well, it depends on the rule.
Yeah, because the rule is like, well, how strict? I mean, is it really that serious?
If someone you respect is motivating you and you want to be motivated by this person, do you respond better to a pat on the back or a kick in the butt?
Depends on how I feel. Sometimes I need a pat on the back, and sometimes I need a kick in the butt. I think I respond better to a kick in the butt, actually.
Yeah.
Do it. Do that crap. Oh, I don't want to do it. Oh, okay, fine. You know.
I think I respond better to encouragement and it's okay. You can do it, Eric. You can do it. Like that kind of shit. I think I got one more that I haven't read here, possibly, that's on the newer side, which is pretend you need to give a work presentation to some people at work. If it were the case that exactly and only one of the following were true, which would most likely be the true one? Number 1, the meeting went badly because non-cooperative colleagues hijacked the meeting and made things too complicated or compromised too much, or interfered too much or something. Number 2, the meeting went badly because I wasn't adequately prepared, and while I do well on the fly, I just needed more info.
Yeah, that's a good question. I like that.
Which one would you answer it?
I would answer 2.
I would answer
like
2
any,
also.
I feel like any EP is going to answer number 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we are a little chaotic. Okay, so that will bring to a close this episode of Talking with Faith People, in which we reviewed the question compilation document in progress. And
Comment with questions you guys like.
yeah, you can let us
Leave
know
a
which
comment.
questions are good and which questions are dumb. Okay, thanks for watching. Stop this right now.